So it has been a couple of months since the battle of the strongest sorcerers in Jujutsu Society wrapped up their legendary battle. Of course, I am referring to Satoru Gojo versus Ryomen Sukuna. This fight made waves throughout social media as it was being released,
still making
starting
waves.
with chapter 223. Most of these characters carry so much individual weight and have brought some of the best moments to the series, so anyone with a pulse could see why this fight is so well regarded. It was a fan favorite from his first appearance on screen.
Yeah,
His pretty boy demeanor,
people meet right him, bro.
Abilities and the story consequences that surround him are pivotal.
Fan favorite is
one
an
of the
understatement.
pinnacles of anime stan culture today. Our first interaction with Gojo as an audience member is him arriving and making fun of Megumi for being in bad sorts and being so unbothered with the resurrection of the most maniacal and heinous sorcerer in history. He ends up plopping his whole ass on him and says, "My student is watching, so I'm gonna show off real quick," and proceeds to launch him across this rooftop and give him some of the slickest animation I've seen in a good while with a powerful haymaker. Immediately, we understand that this dude means business. He's so charismatic that we just can't help but love him.
That's my Gojo.
He wields, we clearly see that he just isn't pump faking, but he's actually like that. Even when asked if Sukuna was fully resurrected and they were to fight, would he be in any danger?
Nah,
he responded with,
I'd win.
"Nah, I'd win." Yes, I said the meme. There you go.
It's funny you say that because, you know, we see in chapter 236, was it? Just, bro would not win.
Jesus,
bro would not win, bro.
Kaizen shit is something else, man.
Lobotomy Kaizen is
Gojo
cooked
has a
up,
very
though.
interesting set
Some
of
crazy edits
that
right now.
immediately sparks interest in the viewer as well because of how Gege flips these super common abilities that we see in other media in a different light. If Gojo just had a barrier around him, it wouldn't really be that interesting, would it? Things like 17's barrier or Pain's Shinra Tensei are extremely common throughout different media, but having an ability of infinity, where the closer something gets to you, the slower it gets, and that's interesting. As we get a closer understanding of Gojo's mindset, he begins to have a certain level of depth that is not apparent on the surface. Gojo has an inherently arrogant but not ignorant nature. As we see in the hidden inventory arc, Gojo in his youth initially was of the opinion that those that are weak are simply weak and that they are barely worth the time of the strong that they're supposed to protect them. Gojo believed that those who are weak were simply less than, and that's all there was to it. Until
But I mean, I think he gets away with that so well because he really, like, I mean, we see in every single fight. This is meat writing real hard right now, but I mean, he is the strongest. He's whooped on almost every single character, every single like villain that we've seen. You know what I'm saying? So far, I guess I should say after Toji mutilates him the first time. You know what I'm saying?
So tried to convince
after
him
that
it
it's
is
just
the duty of the strong to protect
he's locked
the weak.
in.
And Gojo didn't really begin to believe this philosophy until he met and befriended Riko Amanai. Riko was the star plasma vessel, a being that is capable of merging with Master Tengen, and although she was weak, quote unquote, she still had goals and dreams before they were cut down short by Toji Zenin. Gojo's sanity was almost permanently broken after retrieving Riko's body and being surrounded by members of the Time Vessel Association cult. He witnessed this large mass of people clapping and celebrating a 14-year-old's death. The thought of killing these sadists crossed his mind, but Geto brought him back down to earth after explaining that a sorcerer must have a reason to take a life, not just because they're upset. After this, Gojo is closer to the one we know in the modern day. He remains just as goofy and charismatic, but he is 100% focused on raising the next generation of sorcerers to surpassing him. Sukuna has a very demented sense of humor, as he prevented and threatened to kill all those around him from moving as Jogo's maximum meteor was careening down towards the bystanders of their fight. He only allowed them to move once he gave his approval, which was mere seconds before the meteor struck the city of Shibuya. Sukuna is not so vain that he refuses to acknowledge one's strength, as he told Jogo,
"Stand proud, Jogo, you were strong."
Y'all hear me mention it every time I bring him up, but this line is some pressure. Sukuna thirsts for a good quality fight. It has been centuries since he was given a proper opponent that actually tested his abilities and pushed him to the brink.
Doesn't he? I think he tells Gojo, right? Like once he kills him, he's like that this fight was fun or something like that. I don't know. He recognized like his strength.
That Sukuna has come into contact with since we were introduced to him has been extremely trivial for him. Mahito basically looked at him wrong and he almost killed him. Jogo was his prey for about like 20 minutes before he decided to give him the chef's pan-seared flambe special for the night. and Mahoraga actually piqued his interest. The anime had Sukuna's fight with Mahoraga like
This
top
fight
30
was
in the
insane,
series.
by the way.
Seriously, the anime elevated this to a point that I
Yeah.
didn't really think was possible. Make sure y'all thank anyone involved with this project if you see them on social
They
media.
need all the
Sukuna feels that the
things.
very concept of love and affection is alien to him. Kashimo tells Sukuna there must likely be many a sorcerer that attempted to challenge him and give him a fair fight, and he cut every single one of them down. They wanted to know their own worth and challenge themselves to fight the most powerful deity they could think of, and he let not a single one survive. Kashimo asks him, is that not love itself? To respond to their desires in full and not dishonoring them by not responding to their challenge. And Sukuna responds to this with the idea that individuals like Kashimo and himself are loved for their strength, yet he calls Kashimo greedy because solitude troubles him. You see,
Off topic, by the way, I didn't know Kashimo was a male. I thought he was a she. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, come on, dude. No one could blame me for that, right? Because I mean, appearance wise, like let's look at the evidence. Long hair, woman. Here, let's pull up a Kashimo. Like you can't tell me, right? Look at the way he carries himself. Off topic. Back to the video.
See, Sukuna sees himself as an apex predator in the food chain. Just as how we don't see wild bears, lions, or chimpanzees as evil, as we as humans know that if we were to challenge them, we would die because they can and will kill us. It's because it's in their nature, and they can't be blamed for it. Really enjoyed their dynamic. Heading into the duel between the two strongest sorcerers of the time, not only are we heading into a clash of two magnificent powers, but we were heading into a clash of mindsets as well. Sukuna couldn't care less about who is watching him, as the only thing he is focused on is winning his fight. Meanwhile, Gojo wants to free his student, defeat the most maniacal being the Jujutsu world has ever seen, and show off to his students. You guys ever notice how often Gojo
my
says,
students are
"My
watching, I
students
gotta
are watching"?
try.
Now, obviously, it is in a more possessive tone. Those are his students. He cares a lot about them, duh. But one thing that a lot of people don't get is Gojo wants to be an inspiration to these kids as well. That's why he tells Megumi not to sell himself short, and that with enough time he could surpass him. He wants his students to look at him and be like, damn, my sensei is so cool. I want to do what he can do. I want to show off just like Gojo sensei. He wants to be an inspiration to his students as their sensei, which if you directly compared this character trait that he has now to himself as a teenager, the difference will be incredibly stark. Son, going into this fight, the hype was at an all-time high. Listen, I'm not going to get into depth with every single thing that happened with this fight because I've done it multiple times at this point, but what I have not talked about is what it was like being in the community at that time, which is what the
I wish I was caught up when that was happening.
The actual fight itself isn't something that we won't ever see again in terms of JJK or manga in general, because there's been plenty of epic fights with a similar, if not longer amount of screen time that have been shown off recently. But what will be untouched for the foreseeable future will be the community engagement and the lingering effects of this 13 or so chapters. When I tell you that,
Dude, JJK and like this fight has truly or I should say this fight has truly, how do I say this? Has grown the community. You know what I'm saying? Has grown the community and made it more like people are more diehard for it. Like people are so much more hyped because like I remember seeing these panels and I got spoiled. I got spoiled so early on. And everyone's talking about it. I mean, over TikTok and shit, dude. The amount of lobotomy Kaizen videos I see. I saw one where it was like, it was like some math equation. It was like, are you cross contour 0? Are you cross contour because you're 0? Or are you 0 because you're cross contour? Like, huh? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Yeah, they made it. They made it Jujutsu Kaizenized. That's not even the correct terminology, but like everyone's so diehard for this series, and like they meat ride it, which isn't a bad thing, but like holy shit.
Motherfuckers were repping sides like this is some Tokyo Revenger shit. Y'all don't want to know when Agenda Kaizen started to pop off? It was this fight right here. The Sukuna stands and Gojo stands were going to war each other for like 4 months straight, and it was a bloodbath on my timeline. The fans of the series legitimately had more beef than the actual combatants themselves. The back and
There's
forth between the
Sukuna
fandom going
fans?
from
Bro.
it's fucking Gojo over, bro, we lost. Tell the cast to pack it up. To throughout the farmers and the civilians, he is the fraudulent one. Sukuna is cooked. Every chapter was absolutely hilarious.
We got lobotomy
Sukuna
Kaizen now.
Myself, I gotta say, this is one of the darkest times of my life up until the very end of the fight. I mean, the panel of Sukuna bleeding from his eyes after getting hit with infinite void for less than a second almost warranted me to get a psychological evaluation and be placed on suicide watch. I'll tell you what though, that last page at the end of 225 legitimately had people depressed for 2 weeks because the series was on break. As soon as people saw that slice on Gojo, those stands manifested PhDs and became neurosurgeons overnight. Yo, bro, motherfuckers were literally bringing up diagrams from medical textbooks and explaining why his neck wound wasn't that bad. Yo, them Gojo
this sounds normal.
Sounds
normal for the community.
If you weren't in the JJK manga community at that time, I feel genuinely sorry for you because this is one of those, it's legit one of those once in a lifetime experiences.
Dude, I wish I was. It took me like 3-4 months. I just recently caught up like 3 weeks ago after I binged like 60 chapters in like 3-4 days. I wish I was caught up, man. I got spoiled so hard. Like way before season 2 even ended.
Plus with Maya giving that like rousing commentary of you guys aren't ready for this next panel, or guys, if you're sensitive to blood, I would avoid looking at this next page, only added to the hype waiting for the next page to be uploaded. The memes that were made from this fight were absolutely legendary, and they're still being posted about to this day. I could not imagine being an anime-only Jujutsu Kaisen viewer because
must be
I don't
painful.
know how there weren't more people that were spoiled.
Must be agonizing.
Like, yeah, I know a lot of people would type in all caps on YouTube, Sukuna dominates Gojo's domain, and Sukuna finally summoned Mahoraga with a little screenshot of the chapter as the thumbnail with like 250k views. And a decent amount of people were spoiled, yeah, but I'm surprised there wasn't more people spoiled, considering
there probably is. They probably just haven't
not only in the
spoke
JJK
out about it,
but other manga communities as well. I mean, Boruto fans were still catching strays the entire time, but that's neither here nor there. But the domain expansion
Boruto's some ass, man.
Fine. I mean, that was honestly my biggest gripe with the fight, but my personal favorite reveal was the black flash that Gojo hits Sukuna with. Man, after 100 chapters of this crazy technique being missing and never being seen throughout the entire Culling games, and we get this, that's hard. That's hard. Now, as a Sukuna fan, seeing him get knocked out, it was quite literally the worst day of my life. I could not defend that even if I tried. Seeing my personal GOAT villain eyes roll to the back of his head was disheartening, to the very least. This nigga was fighting rice farmers 1,000 years ago! He's washed! Get him off the field! But as a YouTuber, man, in my 3 years of being on this website, this is some of the most fun I've ever had on this platform. And I'm dead serious too. Every week we were getting some of Gege's best work artistically. The fans were at their loudest, and everyone, regardless of which side of the agenda they were on, were having a good time no matter what they were saying. Do y'all remember when the episode of Mastered UI Goku versus Jiren was released, and those people from, I believe, Brazil or Mexico were all watching in an arena like it was a boxing match on a large TV? With this level of community engagement that we were having, it felt just like that. Man, like Gojo freestyling a hollow purple with the blue that was just sitting in the air after it killed Agito.
That was some real big brain shit. That was sick.
That's fire. I gotta say, without a shot,
I even though I knew Gojo was gonna die, I still thought for a second that he won. I don't know why. It was that just ignorance, I guess. I still thought he was gonna win. Even though I knew he was gonna die. I've known he was gonna die since like October. I still thought he was gonna win for some reason. When I saw like, what's it called? Sukuna get hit with that, I was like, it's over. And then Gojo's just in half? Bro.
I've never seen a community more divided than chapter 236. There was a wave of mass depression that swept the fandom as soon as that scene of young Gojo was shown with him at the airport.
Oh man, this scene, these like this flashback, this whatever you want to call it, bro, it had me tripping, and I mean like tearing up. I was like, bro, it's over. As soon as I like read these, I was like, what was he like? He was like, oh yeah, I wish this were real and like actually in reality and not just my imagination. I knew the next panel when I clicked the next arrow. I knew he was gonna be dead. shed a tear.
Now, me personally, I was pretty thrilled.
Oh, yeah.
I was pretty excited. A ton of people hate that Gojo was off screen, but he really wasn't. Really, like Sukuna's slash to the point where he can cut space because he was lining it was so quick. It didn't really matter how it was shown. It was literally like this, like that panel of Kusakabe saying Gojo won. It literally happened immediately after that. And plus the fact that even if Gojo saw it, he might have thought it was just another dismantle that was heading his way, so he thought his ability could stop it.
Yeah, talk about overpowered. That dimensional slashing.
Jujutsu Kaisen has thrown at us. We get to see Gojo absolutely just pop off and break out these techniques we didn't know he knew, like Falling Blossom of Motion and Simple Domain. Well, yeah, Simple Domain obviously is, you know, simple.
But you never seen him use it.
People that are and above. It's so cool to see that Gojo wasn't a one-trick pony just with his own personal innate techniques. I think that's really cool. It was really interesting. We got to see Sukuna actually be scared for the first time in his life, which apparently had not happened in centuries. So that was fantastic. We get to see Mahoraga do a whole bunch of craziness. Gojo's
that 3v1 was so fucking unfair.
Hyped for Sukuna's stands that day, man. You had to be there, and that's really what the whole point of this entire video is, man. Is that we will never get a fight worthy of that hype and all that build.
It might take a couple years.
We get the clash of the strongest sorcerer of the modern day and in history. It's so good, man. It's so good. Absolutely love this fight. Now I know what y'all are gonna say. Oh, but Daffy, didn't you make that video saying the fight wasn't good? Listen, I enjoyed the fight, right? But there are some things in Jujutsu Kaisen that I like better personally. But that's just me. You know, there are fights that I'm rereading even now. Am I rereading the Gojo versus Sukuna fight? No, not that much. Not that much compared to
what could be better?
It's me, boy, Daffy, guys. Before you guys slander me and actually hate me for that take,
yeah, Gojo's coming back, bro.